Tonight, lucky to survive. 3 fishing mates recovering after spending hours, cold and frightened, and hanging on for dear life to their upturned boat off Gippsland. Hopes of a homegrown COVID vaccine dashed as the Queensland University trial is abandoned. But the PM says it will now import millions more doses from overseas. The nation's leaders meet in person for the first time in months. The message, still working together, despite one notable absentee. Victorians crashed the government's regional voucher website 42 days straight without a COVID case, reason for many to plan a summer getaway. And busking some moves, a star-studded lineup to fill Melbourne's streets with music.
This is 10 News First Melbourne with Jennifer Keyte.
Good evening. First, 3 fishermen are lucky to be alive after their small boat capsized off South Gippsland, leaving the trio treading water for almost 5 hours. That was until a random text message finally led to their rescue.
Safe and well after a fishing trip that could have cost them their lives.
Just very happy to be here.
The 3 men were fishing off the coast of Port Welshpool in Victoria's Gippsland region when their boat began filling up with water and flipped. 23-year-old Michael was trapped underneath the upturned vessel in water 30 metres deep.
I was like panicking, trying to get out, and I got out.
With their EPIRB and life jackets underneath, the 3 men clung to the boat in the freezing water, screaming for help.
We're seeing boats go past and we're screaming and yelling and we're doing everything we possibly could to get their attention, but to no avail.
After 4 hours, an incredible stroke of luck. Hamish's drenched mobile phone received a text. Somehow it was working, allowing the desperate trio to call 000.
There's an angel here somewhere looking over us, you know.
Police Air Wing and the local Coast Guard came to the rescue, but by that time the fishermen had drifted so far they were now close to land and could have waded to shore.
These guys were very lucky. They wouldn't have lasted much longer.
It's not clear exactly what caused the boat to start taking on water. The men think there may have been too much weight at the back. The terrifying ordeal has taught them a valuable lesson.
The boat was bringing them in water, and I was trying to let the boys know, but they ignored me.
Because we didn't listen to the young lad when we should have, maybe.
After a night in hospital, the 3 men are recovering at home, shaken but undeterred and keen to get back out on the water.
How lucky can we be?
Estelle Lewis for 10 News First.
Australia's hopes of developing a COVID-19 vaccine have been dealt a blow with the government scrapping its deal with the University of Queensland. While the vaccine has so far proved to be safe, trial participants have returned false positive HIV test results, undermining public confidence.
For 11 months, Queensland scientists have been racing to crack the COVID code, but the Australian government has now decided to pump the brakes on the UQ deal.
It's certainly a tough day for the team.
Scratching the promising vaccine.
There was the risk of false positive HIV results. They are false.
A potential problem that was flagged from the outset.
Everyone was very surprised at the unexpected prevalence of the false positives.
The 120 trial participants knew the vaccine contained fragments of a protein found in HIV to hold the key parts together.
The vaccine was shown to be safe and extremely well tolerated in all of our vaccinees.
There was absolutely no health risk at any point. There was no chance of anyone contracting HIV.
The problem was how the public would perceive it.
As well as a working vaccine, you need to have the public on board.
I think it would have been very difficult to sell the benefits versus risks and to have 100% of the community understand that.
It was one of 4 vaccines the government was pinning its hopes on.
And I think the expectation that there would be a 100% success rate across these is naive.
Manufacturer CSL will now produce an extra 20 million more doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Australia has also bought 11 million more of Novavax.
It'll be a bit less finicky for us and perhaps bring the total volume that we can supply in faster.
There were concerns about the potential for anti-vaxxers to twist the results into a dangerous and misinformed message, which is why the government has plans to release a public information campaign.
I don't suggest that people take their medical advice from Facebook or Twitter. I think that would be pretty stupid.
Tegan George for 10 News First.
Well, after a year of tension and public barbs, the premiers today put on a united front as Australia recorded a landmark 7 days without any locally transmitted cases. Leaders gathered for National Cabinet in person for the first time in months.
A playful procession of premiers and chief ministers. The PM presenting an upbeat and united front following the first in-person meeting of National Cabinet.
Class of 2020 is in. Very good. Well,
including a virtual appearance by a seemingly disinterested WA Premier Mark McGowan. His screen positioned next to the South Australian Premier Stephen Marshall, who he didn't want to be in the same room with because of WA's contentious border rules.
So we miss you, Mark. We miss you.
This was the first time the group's been together after 9 months of premiers publicly warring with each other.
My response is, contrary to what might be out there, we have constructive dialogue within National Cabinet.
No cameras were allowed into today's actual meeting, the government instead releasing its own official photos. Not those done during the PM's ISO, sorry. Today's photos are these ones, showing the PM hard at work with his pants on. With hotel quarantine on the agenda, one of the Prime Minister's key concerns ahead of Christmas is trying to get as many Australians home as possible.
The Prime Minister and I had a conversation last night about us lifting our numbers, and we're very confident we'll be able to do that.
The states and territories agreeing to implement bilateral and bespoke quarantine arrangements for seasonal workers.
That will unlock the ability for the Commonwealth to then provide seasonal worker visas, which will confine those seasonal workers in those jurisdictions.
But dreams of overseas holidays remain grounded.
We still don't know what the vaccines will do in terms of complete prevention.
A trip to Canberra could be as good as it gets.
Thank you all very much.
Peter Van Onselen for 10 News First.
National Cabinet is also considering Victorian plans to bring up to 23,000 international students back to Melbourne. The idea is to have them serve their quarantine in student accommodation and get back to class almost immediately.
Across the world, there are thousands of students like Keyte.
I'm thinking to coming to Melbourne for 4 years.
Together, they bring $14 billion into Melbourne. At least they did.
For me, 2 weeks of quarantine, maybe it will, the time flies anyways.
Now there are plans to bring them back, using student accommodation towers in the university precinct.
We will provide secure tenancy to the Victorian Government for the 2-week quarantine periods, that Victoria Police would man the foyer and the other arrangements.
National Cabinet has delayed a decision until February.
I know states are keen to see that international services opportunity return, but I know they also are very committed to seeing Australians come home.
After that, Keyte is ready to book a ticket.
I've heard in Melbourne there are a lot of music events or some huge events, so I would like to join that.
There's plenty of demand for that, much like the government's regional tourism vouchers. So much so, the scheme's website crashed. Another hot ticket went on sale to the public today, 30,000 of them available for the Boxing Day test. Usually the start of a busy events period for Melbourne, including the tennis and Grand Prix. The Minister in charge is also responsible for international students.
Whilst Martin might like to really promote the sporting activities and the racing industry, let's hone in on the fact that this industry is number one for Victoria, and these young people come for 3 years, not for 2 weeks.
Simon Love for 10 News First.
The cost of the government's signature rail project has blown out by an eye-watering amount. State political reporter Simon Love is now live with us. Simon, what's the extra bill for the Metro Tunnel?
$2.74 billion, Jen, and taxpayers will be footing half that bill, around $1.3 billion. Now, this comes after a deal between the consortium building the Metro Tunnel and the state government that was finalised late last night. Progress has been going quite well on the Metro Tunnel, which is between Arden and South Yarra, and will take the Cranbourne and Pakenham lines out of the city loop. However, there has been some issues with the tunnelling of the project, particularly with some tough ground conditions.
We could have fought for several years in the courts and had the project stop and be delayed and delay all those services for Victoria, or we could approach it in a different way.
Late, botched, and in the case of the Metro, a $3 billion blowout in the cost of the project. It is a scandal.
Now, Jen, we won't know exactly how the government will be accounting for this, whether it'll be more debt. We'll find out that in the next budget in May next year. But the other thing that the government's got on its hands is also the toxic soil dispute over the West Gate Tunnel. So, not a good week when it comes to infrastructure projects for the Andrews government.
Indeed. Thank you, Simon. Well, as Melbourne returns to COVID normal, Coburg is hosting one of the year's first red carpet events this evening. The premiere of the Australian film The Dry, based on an award-winning crime novel, is taking place tonight at the new Pentridge Cinema. Emma O'Sullivan joins us live now. Emma, the star of the movie, Eric Bana, is there tonight.
Good evening. Yes, he is here, and even better, he joins us right now. Eric Bana, thank you for speaking with 10 News First.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
This is a uniquely Australian story. It's also a crime thriller. What else can you tell us about the plot?
Well, it really is a thriller, which, genre films aren't, a common thing here in Australia. So it was a thrill for us to have an opportunity to do it, particularly to adapt Jane Harper's work, The Dry, which we were huge fans of the work. And luckily for us, she decided to set this incredible story in a part of Victoria that rarely gets seen. So we got to head out to the Mallee Wimmera and shoot this and create, I guess, the biggest cinematic version of the book that we possibly could.
I understand you filmed in more than a dozen country Victorian towns. Did they really leave an impression on you? Any new places you went to?
Yeah, I mean, I'd been through there a little bit in the past, but it's different when you spend a couple of months in one place. And I guess being there for full days and seeing sunrises and sunsets in that landscape in the Mallee Wimmera region, it just was really beautiful. And the more remote places we went, the more I enjoyed it, actually. And it was a bit of a shock to come back to Melbourne, but it's a pretty special part of the world, yeah.
And finally, all of Australia, but especially Melbourne, has endured a tough year with COVID. Is it really nice to be here in Melbourne doing something relatively normal, a movie premiere?
I'm still in shock. Yeah, I still can't believe we're here. And the film was originally going to come out earlier in the year and we postponed it. And I'm really glad we did, because it now means that the whole of Australia can see it properly, particularly Victorians. The film's set here in Victoria. We shot it here. And it was really important to us that we opened it at a time when Victorians could come along and see it.
Thank you for joining us.
Cheers, thank you.
So the movie is based on an award-winning novel. There are many fans of the book eagerly awaiting its release. The movie comes out in cinemas on New Year's Day.
Thank you, Emma. It should be great. Well, now here's Stephen previewing tonight's sport.
Thank you, Jen. Australia A rips through the Indian top order in their trial match. Aaron Finch has his say on the controversial new Big Bash rules. Arsenal's Jekyll and Hyde season continues. And keeping it in the family, the O'Driscoll double act at the Fremantle Dockers.
Thanks, Stephen. Coming up in 10 News First. A plea from breast cancer survivors over a test that could prevent the need for chemotherapy. A Christmas gift, the Good Samaritan who's paid off the toy bill for dozens of families.
And it's all aboard a Go Boat, the Mike's Melbourne, just after 6.
The Living Room is the 2020 Best Lifestyle Program winner.
You want to come up and have a look?
Yeah. Tonight, Amanda and Baz turn a high school girls' hostel into a 5-star hotel.
This is beautiful. All the cool chicks in the house say yeah!
Miguel shows them how to whip up a yummy berry smash.
Do you want to see the makeup room? Oh, yes! Hold it!
Don't miss their biggest reveal ever.
Oh, so why? Nobody's done this before.
The Living Room, 7:30 tonight on 10.
It's showtime in the Top End. Top End Shows is bringing back the wow factor to Darwin with a spectacular showing of events throughout the year. Don't wait, check out what's on at topendshows.com.au and book your tickets today.
Last-minute Christmas gifts on sale now at Super Cheap Auto. Get this Bissell Spot Clean Carpet Shampooer for $199.99. Save $39. And 3 cans of export aerosol paint, $9.99. That's 20% off.
Now at Harvey Norman, upgrade to easy with a Chromebook this Christmas. The Lenovo IdeaPad 3i Chromebook, a great value device for education or everyday computing, only $379. Step up to 2-in-1 versatility with the Lenovo IdeaPad Flex 3i Chromebook, only $469. Or get the flexible Lenovo Duet Chromebook with detachable keyboard and kickstand included, $499. More great deals plus 60 months interest free with bonus gift cards. Now at Harvey Norman.
G'day Darwin, it's Rose McManus here. I'm coming to perform for the first time ever for the Top End Comedy Spectacular. Me and a whole bunch of amazing comedians.
Whenever you ask someone what tattoos they've got, they always look like, what the?
For those who haven't been to Aldi, it's like a really well-organised garage sale.
Be there. Book now at topendshows.com.au.
Need a secure storage solution for your boat? Spot On Marine provides hard-standing storage for all types of boats, with lifting up to 60 tonnes. They also do painting, blasting, fabrication, timber and fiberglass repairs. Spot On Marine. Contact us today.
Oh my goodness! I broke my glasses!
Don't stress. Optical Superstore has same-day specs, same-day service and contact lenses.
Wow!
opticalsuperstore.com.au.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have announced that they are carving out what they call a new role for themselves.
It was the news that shocked the world. But what's the truth behind the headlines?
Harry's the spare. He's like, my brother's got this. There is no particular roadmap for me. I'm just going to let loose. And that's what he did.
William might have expressed some brotherly concern that Harry was rushing into things with Meghan. And Harry took offence to that.
That led to the most spectacular meltdown.
They have protocol and rules, and you've changed the whole dynamic of what's going to happen next.
Harry, a prince in exile, on 10.
The special event, 7:30 Wednesday.
Crashing your car can leave you feeling stranded. Contact Sheen Panel Service. We deal with your insurance company and will organise an accident replacement vehicle, keeping you on the road while we fix your car. For more information, visit sheengroup.com.au.
Good afternoon, happy Friday. At the moment, just taking a flight over the Keyte freeway where there's been a collision. This is closing off one of the 2 lanes through this area. Only in the last few minutes, the left-hand lane was actually reopened, so vehicles were previously having to squeeze by in the emergency lane. Obviously flowing through with a little bit more ease now, but unfortunately in terms of delays, the Keyte won't be improving anytime soon. This standstill already reaching the Tullamarine freeway. I'm Jess Miller in the Sheen Panel Service Traffic Chopper, back shortly with another traffic update.
An 84-year-old woman is among a dozen people to have cheated death after the wall of her home collapsed. Her family claims the disaster was caused by building work next door, but the developers aren't accepting responsibility.
An elderly woman weeps. Her son-in-law clambers to safety as part of their home crashes to the ground.
I look up and I just see a dust cloud all over the place. When it all settled down, I was like, hang on. I can see into someone's house there. That doesn't look right.
Something the homeowner's daughter claims she's been telling developers for weeks.
We've just been fighting to try and get them just to, acknowledge the damage, the cause, and to rectify the house.
Large cracks had started emerging in the home while this land next door was being dug up. But the site manager today denied any knowledge.
Can we ask you what happened here yesterday?
Oh, sorry, buddy. No comment. I wasn't here.
Okay, but are you aware of concerns about cracking in the building?
No, sorry, I wasn't here. This is not my site. I've got nothing to do with it.
He was there, tearing down the sign bearing the branding of the company he works for.
No, that's because of the wind.
Today, he was ordered to put that same sign back up, and eventually, he had this to say.
I'm very, very sincerely, upset about this. I'm very, very sorry about what's happened. Let's just leave it up to the engineers and the hierarchies to sort out.
Council insists its rangers acted quickly after being made aware of the safety concerns here. It slapped a stop work order on this site and cleared away workers just 1 hour before the wall gave way.
If there are miracles, I think, you just experience one.
Council also warns it will take whatever regulatory action is required once it gets to the bottom of this. Some solace for the woman who's now unable to live in the place she's called home for more than 50 years.
Pretty sad. Obviously, they've lost the side of their house and bad time of year for that to happen.
Michael Hammond for 10 News First.
5 men have been arrested after almost half a tonne of the drug MDMA was found hidden inside an excavator. Federal police say the drugs were imported into Australia from the UK and have a street value of almost $80 million. An X-ray of the machine tipped authorities off to the 226 bags of ecstasy hidden within. The machine tracked down to an auction and the buyer busted.
The group thought that hiding drugs in machinery and consigning it to a legitimate auction house would be an innocuous way to avoid detection into Australia, and indeed they were very wrong in that assumption.
Subsequent raids across Sydney also netted $1.2 million in cash. A revolutionary cancer treatment is giving much-needed hope to patients with eye melanoma. The new form of radiation is not only halving recovery time, but saving sight and lives.
Richard Droughton's future is looking bright, but when he was first diagnosed with eye melanoma, he feared the worst.
Melanoma's scary. My first symptoms were a watery eye and a bit of blurry vision and flashes of light.
He was treated 4 years ago before his cancer came back in July. Luckily for the 76-year-old, a first-of-its-kind treatment option was finally available.
But since then, it's been quite a journey, and at the moment we're recovering nicely and looking good.
It looks a lot like a 10-cent piece, but there's more to it than meets the eye. The radioactive disc is stitched onto the eye, targeting the tumour.
And that little disc stays on the eye for a prescribed period, after which we then remove it and the patient can go home, and then we can follow the tumour from there.
Experts say the new method is safe and is working wonders already.
Look, this is quite extraordinary, and the importance of that is this form of radiation is much gentler. It treats the tumour very effectively, but it causes less complications.
If this had been around, like maybe 20 years ago, Richard wouldn't probably be standing here now beside me.
The effects of eye melanoma can be life-threatening, so the message to all Australians is to get regular checkups and photos of the back of the eye to avoid the worst-case scenarios.
People have very big tumours. The only option is to take the eye out.
Jacob Chigo for 10 News First.
And ahead in 10 News First, why a Brexit trade deal with the EU might fall at the final hurdle. And the US President-elect already having an impact on Time magazine's version of history.
What a stunning day to finish the week in Melbourne. It's been fine and sunny with blue skies and a great day to be out Christmas shopping in Bourke Street Mall. There's more of it to come over the weekend, so if you're still thinking about heading into the city, maybe to get your presents sorted, both tomorrow and Sunday will be very nice days to do it. Today we went from 10 degrees this morning to a top of 21. A little windy this afternoon, so it felt fairly cool. Right now it's still sitting at 21 degrees. It was a cold morning, especially up through the Yarra Valley, just 4 degrees. Today reached 19 degrees in Geelong, but most spots hit the low 20s. Around Victoria, today's been cool and partly cloudy through the west, 18 degrees in Warrnambool and 23 degrees over at Latrobe Valley. But up north, it's been dry and sunny, hitting 31 degrees at Mildura and 28 at Albury. Well, for your Saturday, it's looking warm and sunny right across the state. I'll be back with your forecast for the weekend very soon. I'll see you then.
Doctor, I've seen double.
A double act is going into the Aussie jungle. This opinionated twosome is used to dishing it out.
But now, the shoe is on the other foot.
Who's going into the Aussie jungle? Jam 3.
Need an ad made? You need AdMade. Need your ad made quickly? We're fast. Need your ad made professionally? Our team has over 40 years of combined experience. Need an ad made at a great rate? We're affordable. Still shot, location shot, full production. Our best creative minds are working for you. And AdMade do more than just TV. AdMade make on-hold messages, radio ads, online video and presentations. And we're locals, right here in Darwin. Get a quote now at admade.com.au.
How often should you wash your hands?
Maybe around 9 times a day. 4?
Like 20?
Maybe twice a day.
Whenever they feel dirty. When should you wash your hands?
After you touch some raw meat. And before starting to eat. At the beginning. I wash my hands before preparing food.
How would you rate your knowledge of food safety?
Probably like an 8 out of 10. 6 or 7.
7.5. Like, I know the basics, but I'm not necessarily like an expert in it by any means.
Food safety. It's in your hands.
Head to the Troppo Pool Shop for complete pool services, pool equipment, cleaners, free water testing, all at their new Yarrawonga home. Open 7 days. It's time to cool off, so visit us now.
It's here. Mattress Studios' end-of-year sell-off is on now. It's the time of the year when we drastically reduce prices and clear our stock. Guaranteed low prices on top-brand Australian and imported mattresses. Don't miss it.
Boating, cabin fishing is BCF and fun.
Summer is sorted with our BCF and Chrissy Gear Guide. Pick up this Primal Essential Tool Bucket for $39.99. That's better than half price.
BCF and fun. Hey!
Support your bust, especially when exercising. Available at Sarah Lynn Lingerie and Fashion Boutique, Shop 3, Milner Plaza, 348 Bagot Road, Milner.
Attitude for men, accessories, footwear and menswear for every day of your life. Attitude for Men, 35 Nucky Street, Darwin City.
It's hot. Too hot. So do something delicious about it. McCafe Iced Coffee. Real coffee, real cold. And absolutely perfect for summer mornings. Drive through today.
This is playing in any weather. And it's not just about games won, it's about being one of the world's healthiest sports. And can be played whether you're 5 or 105. Squash, it's more than just a sport.
Look who's dropping in on Graham Norton this week.
Wow!
Superstar Gal Gadot faces off with television's super host.
Ish.
On a wonderful new episode.
Yes, it is.
7:30 Sunday on 10.
Lebanon's Prime Minister has been charged with negligence over the Beirut port explosion that killed more than 200 people in August. 3 other ministers were also charged. Government documents show many of Lebanon's top political and military leaders failed to act on repeated warnings about storing the explosive material. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is warning the UK to brace for no trade deal with the EU. The UK and EU have until December 31 to cement a deal when Brexit takes effect. But after a meeting with the EU Commission in Brussels, Mr Johnson now admits there's a strong possibility that won't happen.
That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. There are plenty of ways, as I've said, that we can turn that to the advantage of both sides. Now is the time for the public and for businesses to get ready for January the 1st.
Fishing rights, fair competition rules and the governance of future disputes remain major issues to iron out. The US is on the verge of approving Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine. But that was the only good news as the COVID death toll passed the number of Americans killed in combat during World War II.
The UK's approved it, so has Canada. Now the country that needs the Pfizer vaccine the most has cleared the final hurdle.
But also no data.
An expert panel recommending it be approved in the US. Vulnerable people and medical staff will get the first 3 million doses.
I'm excited to get this ball rolling and finally get something going that's going to potentially put an end to this.
In the past day, the US again recorded more than 3,000 deaths, and it'll likely stay above that number every single day for the next 3 months.
She gave birth to her son, but didn't get to hold him. Because right after she gave birth, that's when they put the tube in.
Michael Ovalas lost his sister Erica to the virus. She never got to meet her son Diego.
Towards the last moments, she was tearing. I know she heard us. We prayed for her. We talked to her. We comforted her till the last moments.
And of all the letters being sent to Santa this year, the US Postal Service says more children aren't asking for toys, but for their mum and dad to be healthy, as another 214,000 new cases were confirmed today, including talk show host Ellen DeGeneres. While the pandemic rages on, President Trump continues to focus his energies on overturning the election. Today, he held a private lunch for attorneys general who are fighting in the Supreme Court to invalidate the results in 4 battleground states.
There is no legal path right now for President Trump to overturn the will of 160 million voters, the vast majority of whom voted for President-elect Biden.
Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, Washington.
Meantime, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have been named Time's Persons of the Year. It's the second time the US President-elect and Vice President-elect have beaten Donald Trump, who was on the magazine's shortlist for 2020. Dr. Anthony Fauci, frontline healthcare workers and racial justice protesters were also finalists. A giant fire has swept through a warehouse in Chicago's west. More than 250 firefighters had to be called in to battle the blaze, which tore through an auto parts business. As the flames shot through the roof, the smoke could be seen from kilometres away. Around 50 people were inside at the time the fire began, but all escaped uninjured. It took crews around 3 hours to bring the blaze under control. The US inmate serving the longest sentence for non-violent drug crimes has walked free almost 32 years into a 90-year sentence. Richard DeLisi was jailed in Florida in 1989 for selling cannabis. The 71-year-old believes the excessive sentence was because the judge mistakenly thought he was part of organised crime.
It's really an amazing feeling, but I knew it was a long time coming.
DeLisi was freed after a campaign by the Last Prisoner Project. His wife, son and parents all died while he was behind bars. A new diagnostic test might help remove the need for chemo for some breast cancer patients. That story's next. Plus, the special new life for the toys left in tribute to Hannah Clark's murdered children.
The Living Room is the 2020 Best Lifestyle Program winner. Tonight, Amanda and Baz turn a high school girls' hostel into a 5-star hotel.
So why? Nobody's done this before.
Their biggest reveal ever. Tonight.
It's here. Mattress Studios' end-of-year sell-off is on now. It's the time of the year when we drastically reduce prices and clear our stock. Guaranteed low prices on top-brand Australian and imported mattresses. Don't miss it.
I don't often say how proud I am of you, as my daughter and as a strong Indigenous woman. You're proof that you can change things for the better with a good education, Beth. You worked so hard to get into Charles Darwin University. Now look at you go, baby. Get out there and show the world what you're about. Lots of love, Mum.
Attitude for men, accessories, footwear and menswear for every day of your life. Attitude for Men, 35 Nucky Street, Darwin City.
10 Darwin's Creative Cuppa.
Hello, it's great to have Melanie Gray with us, singer, songwriter, Northern Territorian, to have a chat this afternoon. Melanie, you claim to be a country music artist, but yet you sit before me without a single rhinestone. Does that cut into your credibility? I say yes.
I don't think so, no. I'm not from Nashville, I'm from Darwin. I do have my feathers.
Beautiful. Now tell me, country music, who would be your biggest influence?
Lee Graham Connors. He was one of the first artists that I listened to as a kid, but also I love the way that he uses his instrumentation and the music to create an atmosphere that describes the scenes that you're just looking at, these magnificent landscapes in Australia.
And has it always been country for you?
I've grown up singing a lot of different genres, but I think the one that pulls at my heartstrings the most is definitely country music.
You've got some amazing songs that really do reflect the way that you live here in the Northern Territory. Is it arduous for you to write them, or do they just come?
They just come because I feel like when you've grown up in the top end and you've been immersed in some of these amazing landscapes like Kakadu, you've got the amazing sunsets at Mindle Beach, they sort of become a part of you, so it's easy to write, it just flows. It's something that visually you see and you go, this is the top end, and it flows out of you.
Favourite song of all time? Big question. Huge.
Big question. Great Australian Dream.
Great Australian Dream by?
Graham Connors.
Oh, there you go. It's a Graham Connors moment for all of us. And what's next for you?
I think next year will be time to put out some new stuff.
Another album?
Probably not another album, but I've definitely got a few new singles and I hope to be re-releasing Calling Me Home with a new video.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much, Melanie Gray, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Creative Cuppa, thanks to Mindle Beach Casino Resort.
Crashing your car can leave you feeling stranded. Contact Sheen Panel Service. We deal with your insurance company and will organise an accident replacement vehicle, keeping you on the road while we fix your car. For more information, visit sheengroup.com.au.
Good afternoon again. Just having a look at the Hume Freeway. As you can see, huge delays outbound due to a collision at Cooper Street. It was completely closed off through here for a little while, but has now reopened with lane restrictions still in place. So traffic is extremely slow from back at the Ring Road and even now starting to affect the Ring Road Greensboro bound on the lead up to the Hume Freeway exit. Traffic is really struggling. Also the Calder Freeway jamming up near Kings Road due to an earlier collision. I'm Jess Miller in the Sheen Panel Service Traffic Chopper. Have a great weekend.
Good evening, Charlotte Goodler with a look at finance this Friday. We ended the week with a bit of a blow. The coronavirus vaccine from the University of Queensland and CSL abandoned, which sent the stock price plunging. But we will take a closer look at that in just a minute, because the winners on the share market this week were iron ore miners, and one man in particular, the boss of Fortescue Metals, Andrew Twiggy Forrest. His paper wealth is estimated to have increased by more than $1.6 billion this week alone after iron ore prices increased to US $156 a tonne. Not a bad little effort. Now today we also got some data on jobs. Total employment fell from 13 million to 12.2 million in May during the pandemic when it really hit, and casual workers accounted for 2/3 of the losses, with 500,000 positions gone. Prior to the pandemic, casuals were 25% of the workforce. That then fell to 20%. Let's see where the markets finished up today. The losses of more than 3% by healthcare heavyweight CSL really dragged the benchmark down. That lacklustre close coming despite big jumps for Afterpay and, of course, the iron ore miners as discussed. But the Australian dollar got another boost thanks to those soaring iron ore prices. It's still sitting above that 75 US cents mark, where it hasn't been for about 2.5 years, but its rapid rise is concerning some economists.
This is Melbourne's 10 News First. Tonight's headlines. 3 fishing mates recovering after being rescued off Port Welshpool. They'd clung to their upturned boat for hours before being found. Australia orders millions more overseas COVID vaccines after the Queensland trial was abandoned. And system overload as Victorians swamped the state government website to collect their $200 regional holiday vouchers. The parents of a woman murdered in a shocking domestic violence attack have made a touching Christmas donation for kids doing it tough. Hundreds of toys were placed at vigils for Hannah Clark and her 3 children. They're now on their way to those who need them most.
From the darkest of tragedies, little symbols of joy.
Look, this one's still got a tag. Brand new.
Every one of these toys was left at the shrines, which grew at the scene of the murders of Hannah Clark and her 3 children.
There was a beautiful little beanie bear from Leanna's best friend from school. They'd only been friends a couple of weeks. She'd only just started school. That broke my heart.
Hundreds of cuddly friends for kids in need at Christmas, gifted from parents facing their first without their daughter and grandkids.
Gives us a little bit of joy.
It does.
Yeah. So, just giving. I think they were given to us to try and help our burden and help our pain. So now we'll pass that giving on.
It makes me cry. Mind you, everything makes me cry. But it makes me tear up to see such beautiful love and good wishes from the community wanting to support us. It's lovely.
They're going to Care Kits for Kids, a group which repairs thousands of emergency backpacks for children going into crisis care, many fleeing domestic violence situations.
For a child that's gone into care with perhaps nothing but what they were wearing, to receive a backpack with the essentials but also a beautiful toy like one of these, that will be just amazing for them.
2 days' clothing, toiletries, a little toy, just a small toy. So these toys will be really well loved.
Joe Hill for 10 News First.
Breast cancer patients want a government subsidy for a test which shows whether chemotherapy is needed. It costs about $5,000, making it out of reach for hundreds of Australian women every year.
$5,000 is what it costs to save Maxine Gladwin from unnecessary chemotherapy.
Being a single mum at the time with 3 kids to support and on a fairly modest wage, I could not afford it.
In 2014, she was diagnosed with breast cancer and told she'd need months of chemo. But her parents paid for the 53-year-old to have the $5,000 Oncotype DX test, which revealed her cancer could be safely treated with less invasive treatment.
We're hoping to identify the women who we can spare chemotherapy and who can be treated with the hormonal therapy alone.
The diagnostic test shows how likely the cancer is to return, and new research has revealed postmenopausal women whose cancer has spread to lymph nodes can safely avoid chemotherapy when they have a low recurrence score.
The costs of chemotherapy are enormous. I mean, psychologically, socially, financially.
The Oncotype DX test isn't currently subsidised by the federal government.
It is out of the financial reach of many people at the moment.
It's been knocked back by Australian regulators 6 times, but it is subsidised in other developed countries, including the US and UK. In a statement, the federal government said it relies on the Medical Services Advisory Committee for subsidy requests like this, and that so far the committee had indicated there wasn't enough evidence for public funding.
I mean, if you can avoid having chemotherapy, that's saving the government money.
Annie Kearney for 10 News First.
Another of the mysterious monoliths which have been popping up around the globe has appeared, this time in an Adelaide paddock. The 3-sided metal structure is 3 metres tall and engraved with a series of GPS coordinates, which turn out to be a New York address, a remote island near Guam, and the Sphinx in Egypt. The first monolith appeared in the Utah desert last month, and matching ones have since appeared in seemingly random locations across the globe, including in northern Romania, on top of a Californian mountain, and on England's Isle of Wight. The structures have all then mysteriously disappeared again within days of their discovery. Well, now Stephen's back with Friday Sport.
Thank you, Jen. The new Big Bash rules causing a stir. Australia's white ball captain Aaron Finch adds to the debate. India on the back foot as it fine-tunes for next week's first test. And smooth as silk as the sixer saves a 6.
Why more and more young Aussies are turning their backs on netball. 6:30.
One of the biggest names on Aussie TV is heading into the jungle.
A man of many talents? Well, he's about to become a man of many bugs.
Pretty brave, considering he's afraid of monsters.
Darwin's Creative Cuppa.
Hello, it's great to have Melanie Gray with us, singer, songwriter, Northern Territorian, to have a chat this afternoon. Melanie, you claim to be a country music artist, but yet you sit before me without a single rhinestone. Does that cut into your credibility? I say yes.
I don't think so, no. I'm not from Nashville, I'm from Darwin. I do have my feathers.
Beautiful. Now tell me, country music, who would be your biggest influence?
Lee Graham Connors. He was one of the first artists that I listened to as a kid, but also I love the way that he uses his instrumentation and the music to create an atmosphere that describes the scenes that you're just looking at, these magnificent landscapes in Australia.
And has it always been country for you?
I've grown up singing a lot of different genres, but I think the one that pulls on my heartstrings the most is definitely country music.
You've got some amazing songs that really do reflect the way that you live here in the Northern Territory. Is it arduous for you to write them, or do they just come?
They just come because I feel like when you've grown up in the top end and you've been immersed in some of these amazing landscapes like Kakadu, you've got the amazing sunsets at Mindle Beach, they sort of become a part of you, so it's easy to write, it just flows. It's something that visually you see and you go, this is the top end, and it flows out of you.
Favourite song of all time? Big question. Huge.
Big question. Great Australian Dream.
Great Australian Dream by?
Graham Connors.
Oh, there you go. It's a Graham Connors moment for all of us. And what's next for you?
I think next year will be time to put out some new stuff.
Another album?
Probably not another album, but I've definitely got a few new singles and I hope to be re-releasing Calling Me Home with a new video.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much, Melanie Gray, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Creative Cuppa, thanks to Mindle Beach Casino Resort.
10 Darwin Staffroom Stars. We all know someone who does a great job, be it a dedicated caregiver, a tradie, a volunteer, an apprentice, an admin person, a nurse, or anyone else doing a fantastic job in the top end. Go to 10darwin.com.au today and let's tell Darwin about these shining staffroom stars. Proudly brought to you by 10 Darwin, 1041 Territory FM and Joyce Main, Darwin.
At Apex Steel, you come first. Personalised friendly service for major construction, general fabrication, fencing or the home handyman. Apex is here for you. We stock everything you need to get the job done. RHS, pipe, beams, purlins, mesh and lots more. For a great deal on steel, head straight to the top. Apex Steel. New location in Holtz. Bigger and better premises.
The most elusive.
He's got the means and the muscle to avoid capture.
The most dangerous.
You have to consider him capable of anything. Agent LaCroix.
Aussie Julian McMahon.
I'm on my way.
New FBI Most Wanted. 8:30 Sunday on 10.
Good evening. Pat Cummins says Will Pucovski is ready for a bouncer barrage should India target him this summer. Pucovski is currently missing from the Australia A lineup because of concussion, but Indian legend Sunil Gavaskar says he will be in the line of fire if selected for a Test debut.
Sadly, for Will Pucovski, concussions outnumber the centuries in his fledgling career. But while Aussie fans have a soft spot for the 22-year-old, there's no such thing in the Test arena. Indian legend Sunil Gavaskar says Pucovski's helmet will be a target if he gets a baggy green.
For someone like Will, he's been hearing that for a couple of years and scoring two double centuries back-to-back, I think he can handle that pretty well. So, if that happens, good luck.
Australia has the arsenal to fight back if it becomes tit for tat. A well-rested Pat Cummins hoping for lively wickets in his first red ball series since January.
That's what I'd be asking for, a bit of pace and bounce.
With constant chatter, Steve Smith may resume captaining Australia. Michael Clarke has come out swinging for Cummins to be next in line.
As a vote of confidence, that's nice. Of course, it means absolutely nothing because we've got some great captains at the moment. I know there haven't been too many, bowling captains, but I don't understand, why it has to be a batter.
Some fizz taken out of India's tour match with Australia A. Virat Kohli's only run around the boundary ropes after withdrawing at the last minute. India won the toss and Sean Abbott cashed in an early wicket.
Oh,
taken, good catch.
Joe Burns taking a sharp catch, but what he really needs is runs. Junior talent seeing the stumps rattle.
Straight through him.
Will Sutherland and Jack Wildermuth doing their bit to soften up India before the Test series. Cameron Green then joined the party.
Australia A have a fourth wicket in this first session.
Green is quickly becoming impossible for the selectors to ignore. Bence Hammerley for 10 News First.
Aussie white ball skipper Aaron Finch admits he isn't convinced by all of the new rules for this year's Big Bash season. The Renegades opener will get first crack in the competition tomorrow after declaring himself fully fit for both of the Gades matches this weekend.
There's not much Aaron Finch hasn't done in white ball cricket, but back-to-back T20 matches this week will be a first.
It's probably the first time I've ever played two T20s back-to-back. But again, I think kicking off the tournament this way, it gives you a real chance to build some momentum quickly in the tournament.
He says he's fully recovered from the glute strain.
Yeah, my fitness is 100% good to go.
Controversially, the Big Bash has funked up some of its rules. Finch likes the changes to the power plays, but not the super sub.
I'm not convinced that 10 overs into an innings or into a 40-over game is enough time to take enough information to make a call to sub somebody out. So I'm not sure that that'll get used a hell of a lot.
I think last night made it interesting. Like I said, there's a bit more to take in, but I think it adds a different dimension. I don't know how much the bowlers that have to bowl the 2 overs will enjoy it.
The highlight of the opening night of the Big Bash was a remarkable piece of fielding from Jordan Silk.
Rips another one in the leg side. Jordan Silk. He flew like Superman.
That's remarkable what he's just done there.
Sort of stood there in awe a bit, to be honest. It was it was the best bit of fielding I've seen at a game live. That's probably right on the limit of what's possible.
The Sydney Sixers blew a great start from James Vince and Jack Edwards. Vince top scoring with a well-made 67.
Yeah, it's not going to get to the boundaries, and it's gone over. It has.
From 1 for 118, the Sixers lost regular wickets, and the 179-run target proved beyond them by 16 runs. Rob Waters for 10 News First.
The impasse between Collingwood and the Western Bulldogs over Adam Treloar's salary has been resolved. The clubs have been haggling over who pays a $1.5 million gap over the 5 years of Treloar's lucrative contract. It's believed the Magpies have agreed to pay $1 million over the length of the deal. After being overlooked in 3 straight drafts, James Rowe thought he might never get a chance to follow in Dad's footsteps. Stephen Rowe was a cult figure at Adelaide, and his son has all the makings of being a fan favourite too.
Trying on the tricolours for the first time, James Rowe still can't believe he's a Crow.
I'm still pinching myself that I'm going to be meeting Rory Sloane and Matt Crouch, Tex Walker, all those sort of players.
It's still sinking in for Dad too.
You see him in that gear, just today in the jumper for the first time. It is. When you see it, it is emotional.
Overlooked in the past 3 drafts, James feared it might happen again when an interested Carlton snubbed him at pick 37.
Pick 38, James Rowe. It was an explosion.
It's just crazy. I can't really explain the feeling. All I can really compare it to is winning the lottery.
The small forward won a flag and kicked more goals than anyone in the sample this year. A carpenter by trade, he's more than ready for a career change.
I had to drop the trailer back Thursday morning, so that was an interesting conversation, but no, they're very happy for me. A few of them are Crows fans.
The 21-year-old wants to forge his own path at Westlakes, but is still open to wearing Dad's old number.
I guess he'll be a little bit special. I get number 3, but whatever number they give me, I'm happy with.
The Dockers are also keeping it in the family. Nathan O'Driscoll has joined sister Emma at Fremantle.
This is a dream come true, and I still honestly can't believe it, and just overwhelmed with emotion.
Big siblings can often be protective, but Emma won't be telling the men to go easy on little brother.
Definitely not. I say give it to him. It's the only way he's going to learn, I think. But I think, no, he will be very well looked after.
Jace Kemp for 10 News First.
Port Adelaide has made the admission it selected Tyson Goldsack as a rookie with no intention of actually playing him. The former Collingwood defender is now a development coach at Port. His selection serves as a workaround for the club to pick him in its SANFL side.
I think our list is balanced enough that I highly doubt that he's going to play at AFL level, but he'll play a really important role for us at SANFL level and from a coaching standpoint during the week.
Port's other new rookie, son of a gun Taj Schofield, hit the track today for the first time alongside prized pick Lockie Jones. Arsenal might be suffering its worst start to a Premier League season, but the Gunners are a perfect 6 from 6 in the Europa League.
Sends it goalwards. It's the first one he scored for Arsenal in 3 years.
A 4-2 win over Dundalk in Ireland wrapped up the group stages for Arsenal. The Patriots forced Jared Goff to cough it up in their clash with the Rams, but the turnover wasn't as costly as Cam Newton's minutes later.
Second down, Newton trying to set up a screen. He's picked. Back the other way and down the sideline.
LA's coach kept pace with his side better than New England could, with the Pats looking increasingly likely to miss the playoffs after losing 24-3. Today, though, it's fair to say the pros were taught a lesson by the students as Southern Miss produced a play you don't want to miss.
And put on a starring role like a guy like Cam Harrell. Down the sidelines for Southern Miss. He'll go the distance. Touchdown on the kickoff return for 6 for the Golden Eagles.
The TD totalled 100 yards, more than enough to also score our play of the day. And we'll see you soon, Jen.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Warm weather on the way. Kate Freeburn has your weekend forecast after the break.
We reveal why Chinese aircrew are being told to wear nappies. 6:30.
The Living Room is the 2020 Best Lifestyle Program winner. Tonight, Amanda and Baz turn a high school girls' hostel into a 5-star hotel.
Oh, don't mind crying. So why?
Nobody's done this before. Their biggest reveal ever. Tonight.
It's here. Mattress Studios' end-of-year sell-off is on now. It's the time of the year when we drastically reduce prices and clear our stock. Guaranteed low prices on top-brand Australian and imported mattresses. Don't miss it.
Hi, I'm Darryl. Barnyard Trading is a family-owned business. We've been supplying the territory for over 30 years. Our business deals in irrigation, chemicals, fertiliser and gardening tools. We also have everything you need for fencing, including electric fencing. We support the communities by delivering to the barges free of charge. Find us at 904 Stewart Highway, Pinelands.
Have you heard? It's the inside word. Sell your car, your home, advertise a job, or even pop the question to that special someone. All this and more can be heard on the inside word. Only $200 to air your message across 3 stations over 80 times over 8 days. Go to the 10 Darwin website and register your interest today. Be heard with the inside word. Proudly brought to you by 10 Darwin.
Has your business gone to the dogs? Is that phone not ringing? No customers coming through the door? It's time to sit up and pay attention. Get your eye on the ball. Advertise your business with 10 Darwin. Put your brand in the forefront of your customers' minds. Email office@10darwin.com.au or call 8927 4410 today and put the bite back into your business.
Need a tilt tray? Air Filter Wash NT and Danny Porter Mechanical now offering a tilt transport service. With a 7-tonne capacity and 8.5 metre tray, they'll get you sorted. From containers to scrap, plant to general. They can even pack your boat in or transport your toys. In stock, Exide Marine dual-purpose deep cycle batteries, Air Filter Wash NT and Danny Porter Mechanical. Open Monday to Saturday morning.
Let's go to Kate Freeburn now for the weather. Kate, how is the weekend looking?
Jan, this will be the warmest weekend we've had in Melbourne for a very long time. The sunshine will last right through the weekend, so today was just a little taste of what's to come. Great weather for a walk through the Greenvale woodlands. Tonight our weather photo was sent in by Phil Bromley, who snapped plenty of kangaroos. If you have a shot you'd like to see in our weather reports, we'd love to see it. Send it through or use our hashtag on social media, Kate's Weather Pics. Today it dropped to 10 degrees in
Melbourne at 6 this morning. This afternoon it warmed up to 21, but it was a little windy, so it felt fairly cool. Currently it's 20. It was a cold morning, especially up through the Yarra Valley. It dropped to just 4 degrees and Scoresby hit 6. Most spots warmed up to the low 20s today, but a little cooler around Geelong, reaching 19 degrees. Looking around Victoria, today's been cool and partly cloudy through the southwest, just 18 degrees at Warrnambool. Gippsland reached the low 20s, but up north it's been dry and sunny, hitting 32 degrees in Mildura and 31 degrees in Swan Hill. Around the country, late showers hit Brisbane. Sydney's been cloudy and 24. Warm and sunny in Adelaide, it hit 30, while in the west it's been warm and sunny to finish the week in Perth, reaching 33 degrees. Right now, the satellite photo is showing a huge mass of thick clouds sitting over the middle of the country, and that's generating heavy rain and thunderstorms, which has caused flooding in northern Western Australia. Victoria, you can see, is the only state that's looking nice and clear, and that's thanks to a high that's moving to the south of the country. Tomorrow, troughs you can see in the west will generate heavy rain and storms in WA, the NT and South Australia's west, with rain also forecast in southern Queensland and northern New South Wales. That rain will impact Brisbane tomorrow, with a cloudy day for Sydney, heading for 24. 21's the top for Canberra, a very warm day for Adelaide, up at 35, while in the west it's looking good in Perth, sunny and 31 degrees. Around Victoria, it's looking like a great start to the weekend. Warm and sunny right across the state. A little windy through Gippsland, but overall a lovely day with most spots up around 30 degrees. If you're heading out on the water, there is a strong wind warning for Port Phillip, Gippsland Lakes, the western central coast and the east Gippsland coast. It's looking like a sunny Saturday right across Melbourne, with our temperatures sitting up in the high 20s, even getting close to 30 degrees. Across the bays, winds will blow easterly with the waves over 1 metre. In Melbourne, it will cool off to 12 degrees overnight, and then what a start to the weekend, sunny and 29 degrees. Looking ahead, we're heading into the 30s. Sunday will be mostly sunny with a top of 30, and then it's even warmer on Monday and Tuesday, up at 32 degrees. But then the run of hot weather comes to an end and showers will develop. 23 degrees with a late shower or two on Wednesday, but the wettest day of the week will be Thursday with a chance of up to 10 millimetres. And then it's cooling off to 20 degrees on Friday.
The developing stories we're following tonight. 3 Gippsland fishing mates recovering back on dry land after a frightening night clinging to their upturned runabout. Australia's homegrown COVID vaccine scrapped as trials turn up false positive tests for HIV. And Melbourne's Secret Santa, the woman who paid off dozens of lay-by bills so strangers' families could have toys this Christmas. 3 fishermen are recovering tonight after their small boat capsized off South Gippsland. They'd been in the water for almost 5 hours when help finally reached them.
Alive and well after a very close call at sea.
Just very happy to be here.
The 3 men were fishing off the coast of Port Welshpool in Victoria's Gippsland region when their boat began filling up with water and flipped. With their EPIRB and life jackets underneath, they clung to the boat in the freezing cold, screaming for help.
We're seeing boats go past and we're screaming and yelling and we're doing everything we possibly could to get their attention, but to no avail.
Eventually, they had an incredible stroke of luck. 54-year-old Hamish Merritt's drenched mobile phone received a text. Somehow it was working, allowing the desperate fishermen to call 000.
There's an angel here somewhere looking over us, you know.
After 5 hours in the water, Police, Air Wing and the local Coast Guard came to the rescue.
These guys were very lucky. They wouldn't have lasted much longer.
It's not clear exactly what caused the boat to start taking on water. The men think there may have been too much weight at the back. The terrifying ordeal has taught them a valuable lesson.
Have your life jackets on at all times.
After spending a night in hospital, the men are shaken but undeterred and keen to get back out on the water.
It was an ordeal and a half for the night, I must admit.
How lucky can we be?
Estelle Lewis for 10 News First.
National Cabinet is delaying a decision until the new year to bring international students to Melbourne. Industry leaders want student accommodation towers transformed into similar facilities to the hotels used by Aussies returning home.
Across the world, there are thousands of students like Keyte.
I'm thinking to coming to Melbourne for 4 years.
Together, they bring $14 billion into Melbourne. At least they did.
For me, 2 weeks of quarantine, maybe it will, the time flies anyways.
Now there are plans to bring them back, using student accommodation towers in the university precinct.
We will provide secure tenancy to the Victorian Government for the 2-week quarantine periods, that Victoria Police would man the foyer and the other arrangements.
To be able to welcome more of those international students back safely in 2021 is a big focus.
National Cabinet has delayed a decision until February.
I know states are keen to see that international services opportunity return.
Keyte is ready to book a ticket.
I've heard in Melbourne there are a lot of like music events or some huge events, so I would like to join that.
There's plenty of demand for that, much like the government's regional tourism vouchers. So much so, the scheme's website crashed. Tickets also went on sale today for the Boxing Day test. The Chief Health Officer has approved a crowd of up to 30,000 here at the MCG. But work's still underway on crowds at the Australian Open and the Grand Prix. Simon Love for 10 News First.
Hopes of an Australian-made COVID vaccine have been dashed after participants in the University of Queensland's trial began returning false positive results for HIV. As Joe Hill reports, the vaccine was still deemed safe, but it's been abandoned to ensure public confidence.
A heartbreaking day for the researchers here at the University of Queensland. Months of tireless hard work has collapsed in the blink of an eye. Researchers here were among the first in the world to embark on the journey of developing a COVID vaccine, and their early results had shown that their formula was safe and effective. But a number of patients in their early trials had begun returning false positives for HIV because their vaccine used an HIV protein. Now, this development is effectively a death sentence for the project, given that nothing could restore confidence in this vaccine moving forward.
It's particularly tough on a day not far in advance of when we were going to announce what great phase 1 data we had.
I think what we've achieved this year has been remarkable. It shows that Australian scientists are up there with the world's best. We've done a great job. We can hold our heads high, and I think it's a very sad time, but also we're very proud of what we have achieved.
The team said it would have been possible to re-engineer the vaccine, but they're realistic. They know that there simply isn't time to do that. This won't mean a shortfall in Australia's supply, though. Local manufacturers will now instead produce 20 million doses of the Oxford vaccine, once that is ready to be rolled out.
Melbourne is coming back to life again with the sound of music. Legendary artists are popping up across the city with surprise performances. And our buskers are back too.
It has been so long since Melbourne's had live music, it's almost a crime. But the city is alive with the sound of music once again. Our buskers are back and there are surprise celebrity pop-ups. Last night, Daryl Braithwaite wowed diners into Grave Street. It's part of a program to reinvigorate the city.
Let's bring our city back. No one interstate realise how hard it's been.
The locations are a secret, and so are the performers.
These are legendary musicians, and they've missed working and playing to people.
You can see the physical uplifting of people when they hear music, when they can see our artists perform.
You're likely to stumble across a pop-up performance in Melbourne over the next 2 weeks. And if you miss out, there's always our buskers. Even the world of busking has adapted to the pandemic. QR codes have been set up so you can offer a contactless tip. Or if you're still old school, you're able to throw them some cash as well.
Today I'm here at the Royal Albert Hall of busking, the Bourke Street Mall.
When you hear music on the streets, it just kind of makes you happy walking past it.
And we could all do with a little bit of that. Candice Wyatt for 10 News First.
Thousands of families in Melbourne's east have had their Christmas made by one stranger's act of kindness. Each of them was trying to pay off the kids' presents before a mystery woman swooped in with a gift no one expected.
It's called the season for giving.
Thank you.
But really it's the season for buying. But not at Toy World Pakenham, at least not today.
Thank you. Just, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Sandra Evans was opening the store as usual this morning, and then the phone rang unexpectedly.
And I thought, oh, who's this ringing early? Do I answer it? Do I not?
On the other end, a mystery woman wanting to know how much was outstanding on lay-bys there.
I told her the amount, which was $8,000, and she said, oh, my husband and I would like to pay all that off for you and to do a service for the community. I'm like, wow, are you serious?
She was, and paid the $8,000 then and there.
I come in just to pay for lay-by for Christmas, and they had said that a lady had called up this morning and honestly and paid off every single lay-by in the store.
All day, customers have been walking out with a smile and their wallets untouched.
But now they've got extra money to put, food on the table.
Amazing. It brings a faith back in the world.
Her only reward, the thanks of families who'll never know her name.
And I hope you have a beautiful Christmas, and thank you very much to you and your husband.
Nick Etchells for 10 News First.
Very generous indeed. And now, if you're wondering what to do around Melbourne this weekend, Mike Larkin has some ideas.
Yes, thank you, Jen. Good evening. It is the weekend, and a wonderful way to enjoy our city is here on the water. Now, as we know, cruise ships are perhaps no-go, but cruising along the Yarra is all go on a go boat. Grab up to 8 friends and enjoy a picnic on the water, and you can actually steer one of these electric boats. You don't need a licence, just throw on your captain's hat and enjoy your afternoon. Oh, some school holiday activities include Sea Life Melbourne Aquarium. And this has got to be one of the best walks in Melbourne, a tunnel underwater. The 2.2 million litre oceanarium, home to a myriad of sea creatures like tropical fish, sea turtles, sharks, stingrays, with junior keeper activities for the kids. Oh, and for the kids, how do you make an octopus laugh? 10 tickles. Okay, from a fish to a bird, and the eagle has landed. The Arthur Seat Eagle, with the best view across Port Phillip to Melbourne, is open for business. The Swiss-made open-air aerial gondolas fit up to 8 people. It's, well, perhaps your chance to reconnect with nature and your family and friends via this fantastic socially distanced experience. And this week saw the launch of the biggest event since lockdown, Ballers Clubhouse in the city, spread over a whopping 2,500 square metres. In this revolutionary super venue, you can go crazy playing ping pong. Yep, there must be a dozen tables, and there's darts in the dart booths. There's stand-up shuffleboards. I gave it a go, harder than it looks, and there's snooker tables galore. It's brand new to Melbourne, a sort of upmarket sports bar. And that's it for me tonight, Jen. I guess we should go. Okay, it only goes 5 knots. And whose hat is this anyway? I'll see you next week.
And Stephen's back now with a look at tonight's sport.
Thank you, Jen. We're live to Adelaide to watch the Aussies train in the lead up to the first test, while their opponents, India, have had a tough day at the office in their trial match. And we meet Melbourne United's booming recruit, but can they hold on to him?
Tonight, the Aussie Surf Lifesaving Nippers program with a difference, plus why you may never cut a cake the same way again. 6:30.
10 Darwin's Creative Cuppa.
Hello, it's great to have Melanie Gray with us, singer, songwriter, Northern Territorian, to have a chat this afternoon. Melanie, you claim to be a country music artist, but yet you sit before me without a single rhinestone. Does that cut into your credibility? I say yes.
I don't think so, no. I'm not from Nashville, I'm from Darwin. I do have my feathers.
Beautiful. Now tell me, country music, who would be your biggest influence?
Lee Graham Connors. He was one of the first artists that I listened to as a kid, but also I love the way that he uses his instrumentation and the music to create an atmosphere that describes the scenes that you're just looking at, these magnificent landscapes in Australia.
And has it always been country for you?
I've grown up singing a lot of different genres, but I think the one that pulls on my heartstrings the most is definitely country music.
You've got some amazing songs that really do reflect the way that you live here in the Northern Territory. Is it arduous for you to write them, or do they just come?
They just come because I feel like when you've grown up in the top end and you've been immersed in some of these amazing landscapes like Kakadu, you've got the amazing sunsets at Mindle Beach, they sort of become a part of you, so it's easy to write, it just flows. It's something that visually you see and you go, this is the top end, and it flows out of you.
Favourite song of all time? Big question. Huge.
Big question. Great Australian Dream.
Great Australian Dream by?
Graham Connors.
Oh, there you go. It's a Graham Connors moment for all of us. And what's next for you?
I think next year will be time to put out some new stuff.
Another album?
Probably not another album, but I've definitely got a few new singles, and I hope to be re-releasing Calling Me Home with a new video.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much, Melanie Gray, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Creative Cuppa, thanks to Mindle Beach Casino Resort.
First Aid Darwin, $99 first aid course, done in one day. Regular courses available, highly experienced trainers, no waiting lists, no pre-study, no online assessment, certificates issued same day, CPR updates, asthma and anaphylaxis, first aid for childcare workers, all corporate industries, remote first aid training, low voltage rescue training for electricians. Book online now. Fast, fun, first aid done. First Aid Darwin.
All the great gift ideas, all the famous brands. Shop Darwin City this Christmas.
Send your letters to Santa in the mall and your family could win weekly prizes of Darwin City boutique dollars. Entry forms from city retailers on Facebook.
Eat, shop and play in Darwin City.
Authorised by the Northern Territory Government, Darwin.
Charles Darwin University is one of Australia's top 2 universities for graduate employment and salary outcomes. Join the Territories University and let us help you build your new world.
Wonder Woman drops in for a chat. Wow! On a wonderful new Norton, 7:30 Sunday.
Aussie pace bowler Pat Cummins has a warning for the Indian quicks this summer. Bowl short at your own risk. The Aussies are about to train under lights at Adelaide Oval, and that's where we find Jace Kemp. Jace, it's a test match we thought might not happen.
Yeah, Quarters, it's remarkable. Just a short time ago, we didn't think we'd be here, but the Aussies are about to take to Adelaide Oval number 2 under lights as they prepare for the first match against India next Thursday night. Now, there will be some noticeable absentees in David Warner, along with Mitchell Starc and Will Pucossi there, battling to overcome injury, and Mitchell Starc should return to the side come Monday. As for the Indians, well, they're preparing for their first pink ball test as well, away from their home country, and Pat Cummins says bring it on after they delivered some short stuff to Will Pucossi recently.
Someone like Will, he's been hearing that for a couple of years, and scoring 2 double centuries back to back, I think he can handle that pretty well. So, if that happens, good luck. Us bowlers will worry about what we want to do. Of course, it's a weapon that we like to use.
Now, normally Adelaide Oval would be full during a test match, but due to strict COVID protocols, that number's been reduced to about 23,000, so about half the capacity. But that's a pretty good result, Quarters, considering the couple months we've had.
Oh, sure is. We'll take that. Thanks, Jace. Virat Kohli is sitting out India's final tune-up ahead of the first test. The skipper was running laps ahead of the tour match in Sydney. Australia openers Joe Burns and Marcus Harris were forced to wait for their chance to push their case as India batted first. With ball in hand, Cameron Green only enhanced his cause.
Especially with that, finds the outside edge, and Australia A have a 4th wicket in this first session.
Jack Wildermuth was the pick of the bowlers, though, with 3 wickets as India struggled against the pink ball. Aaron Finch is good to go for the Melbourne Renegades, who begin their Big Bash campaign with a double-header. Australia's white ball captain isn't sure all of the funky new rules in the BBL will work.
I'm not convinced that 10 overs into an innings or into a 40-over game is enough time to take enough information to make a call to sub somebody out. So I'm not sure that that'll get used a hell of a lot.
Jordan Silk last night added to his already impressive fielding resume with his 6-saving effort on the boundary. But his acrobatics were in vain as the Sixers lost to the Hurricanes by 16 runs. Melbourne United has high hopes for boomer Jock Landale, hoping he will be one of the most dominant centres in the league this season. The championship contenders secured the local big man yesterday, but concede they may lose him to the NBA before season's end.
For months, Melbourne had one of the country's best basketball talents under its roof, and all they could do was wait to sign him.
I think we were really comfortable with the patience because we had him in the building and he's practicing with us every day, and you know, we saw the quality of player and the quality of person every day.
Yesterday, the patience paid off, with boomer Jock Landale officially signing on after a move to the NBA failed to materialise.
It got close, you know, once or twice, but it didn't happen, so it kind of is what it is, and I've found myself in a fantastic situation, and I'm happy with it.
The 25-year-old remains hopeful of eventually heading to the States, but won't get too involved in any potential contract talks.
Yeah, you know what, I think that I might have been given a bit too much power to all that stuff these past few seasons that I've played, and always kind of stressing what's next, and it's at times just been, you know, a bit detrimental to my state of play and my state of mind.
Again, we don't want to stand in his way if an amazing opportunity comes in the NBA.
Mum, though, may not be as happy to let her son go.
You know, my mum especially had a lot of concerns about me going back to, you know, Europe or America with COVID as rampant as it is out there.
In Melbourne, it will hopefully only be Landale running rampant.
I think that's the mindset that he's coming in with, is that he wants to dominate in different areas of the game.
Tim Morgan for 10 News First.
The 75th Women's US Open has finally teed off after being rescheduled from June. Amateur Gabriella Ruffles is the best of the Aussies at 1 under, sitting 3 shots back from leader Amy Olsen, who pulled off the day's only ace.
And Amy Olsen lights up what crowd there is there.
It's no hole-in-one, but Victor Perez showed plenty of skill with a fairway wood from close range as he leads the Tour Championship in Dubai by 1 stroke. Arsenal might be suffering its worst start to a Premier League season, but the Gunners are a perfect 6 from 6 in the Europa League.
Sent it goalwards. It's the first one he's scored for Arsenal in 3 years.
A 4-2 win over Dundalk in Ireland wrapped up the group stages for Arsenal. The Patriots forced Jared Goff to cough it up in their clash with the Rams, but the turnover wasn't as costly as Cam Newton's minutes later.
Second down, Newton trying to set up a screen. He's picked. Back the other way and down the sideline.
LA's coach kept pace with his side better than New England could, with the Pats looking increasingly likely to miss the playoffs after losing 24-3. And that's all from me, Jen. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Stephen. Kate will be back after the break with details of a warm weekend.
Amanda and Baz turn a high school girls' hostel into a 5-star hotel.
Nobody's done this before.
The Living Room, tonight.
Attitude for men, accessories, footwear and menswear for every day of your life. Attitude for Men, 35 Nucky Street, Darwin City.
10 Darwin's Creative Cuppa.
Hello, it's great to have Melanie Gray with us, singer, songwriter, Northern Territorian, to have a chat this afternoon. Melanie, you claim to be a country music artist, but yet you sit before me without a single rhinestone. Does that cut into your credibility? I say yes.
I don't think so, no. I'm not from Nashville, I'm from Darwin, but I do have my feathers.
Beautiful. Now tell me, country music, who would be your biggest influence?
Graham Connors. He was one of the first artists that I listened to as a kid, but also I love the way that he uses his instrumentation and the music to create an atmosphere that describes the scenes that you're just looking at, these magnificent landscapes in Australia.
And has it always been country for you?
I've grown up singing a lot of different genres, but I think the one that pulls at my heartstrings the most is definitely country music.
You've got some amazing songs that really do reflect the way that you live here in the Northern Territory. Is it arduous for you to write them, or do they just come?
They just come because I feel like when you've grown up in the top end and you've been immersed in some of these amazing landscapes like Kakadu, you've got the amazing sunsets at Mindle Beach, they sort of become a part of you, so it's easy to write, it just flows. It's something that visually you see and you go, this is the top end, and it flows out of you.
Favourite song of all time? Big question. Huge.
Big question. Great Australian Dream.
Great Australian Dream by?
Graham Connors.
Oh, there you go. It's a Graham Connors moment for all of us. And what's next for you?
I think next year will be time to put out some new stuff.
Another album?
Probably not another album, but I've definitely got a few new singles and I hope to be re-releasing Calling Me Home with a new video.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much, Melanie Gray, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Creative Cuppa, thanks to Mindle Beach Casino Resort.
We've always done it tough in the Territory because tough always has to be done, and where the needs of many sometimes require the actions of one. As we head into the storm season, Power and Water is committed to doing what needs to be done, building and maintaining the engine room of the Territory, investing in our communities, and always focused on one thing: protecting what's truly precious. To protect your loved ones this storm season, visit powerwater.com.au/prepare.
Need an ad made? You need AdMade. Need your ad made quickly? We're fast. Need your ad made professionally? Our team has over 40 years of combined experience. Need an ad made at a great rate? We're affordable. Still shot, location shot, full production. Our best creative minds are working for you. And AdMade do more than just TV. AdMade make on-hold messages, radio ads, online video and presentations. And we're locals, right here in Darwin. Get a quote now at admade.com.au.
Up next, will the Aussie COVID vaccine setback mean we'll all have to wait longer to get the jab? We check out the Serve Life-Saving Nippers program with a difference. The reason PM Scott Morrison was snubbed from speaking at this weekend's Global Climate Summit. Plus why Chinese aircrew are being ordered to wear nappies at 30,000 feet. The project next.
There was no wagging class in 2020 for these students. Guide Dogs Victoria today celebrated the graduation of one of its biggest classes on record. The Star Pups are now fully trained to help blind or vision impaired people to live a fulfilling and independent life, as well as provide plenty of cuddles and companionship.
I'd sit with her, talk to her, and she actually helps me out a lot.
This year, 74 dogs graduated thanks to special access inside Melbourne Convention Centre, where training was conducted during COVID. Now, Keyte Freeburg's back with the forecast. Keyte, some warm weather on the way.
Yeah, Jan, the forecast for the weekend is looking absolutely perfect. It's sunny and heading up towards the 30s, so a nice warm weekend maybe for the beach, and that's where we find tonight's weather photo. Doug Farr snapped this one at the Frankston Pier. We would love to see your best weather shots too, maybe one you take over the weekend. Please send them our way, and you never know, you might just see it on the telly. This morning it dropped to 10 degrees in Melbourne. It was sunny with cool winds. The top was 21 and currently it's 20 degrees. Right now the satellite photo is showing a lot of thick cloud and that's generating heavy rain and thunderstorms. Victoria is the only state that's looking nice and clear, and that's thanks to a high that's moving over the south of the country. Tomorrow troughs in the west will generate heavy rain and thunderstorms in WA, the NT and South Australia's west, with rain also forecast over in southern Queensland and northern New South Wales. That rain will impact Brisbane tomorrow with a cloudy day for Sydney, heading for a top of 24. It's looking very warm in South Australia. Adelaide's heading up to 35 degrees, while over in the west it's looking good in Perth, sunny and 31 degrees. Around Victoria, it's looking like a great start to the weekend. A little windy through Gippsland, but for the most part, a very nice day. Warm and sunny right across the state, with most spots up around 30 degrees. If you're heading out on the water, there's a strong wind warning for Port Phillip, Gippsland Lakes and the western central coast, as well as the east Gippsland coast. Tomorrow is looking like a sunny Saturday right across Melbourne, with temperatures sitting in the high 20s, even getting close to 30 degrees. So a lovely day on the way. In Melbourne tonight, it's cooling off to 12 degrees. It will stay dry, and then what a start to the weekend. Sunny right through the day, heading for 29 degrees in the city. And then looking at the week ahead, we're heading into the 30s. Sunday will be mostly sunny with a top of 30 degrees, and then it's all the way up to 32 degrees on Monday and Tuesday. But the hot weather will end in the middle of the week. By Wednesday, it's turning cool and wet, 23 degrees with a late shower or two on Wednesday, and Thursday is a chance of up to 10 millimetres of rain. So Jen, make sure you enjoy that sunshine tomorrow. Can't wait.
Good advice, thank you, Kate. And that's 10 News First for this evening. From the team, good night.
Tonight, will the Aussie COVID vaccine setback mean we all have to wait longer to get a jab?
We check out the Surf Lifesaving Nippers program with a difference.
Can we go for a swim, Marcus? Hurry, let's go!
The reason PM Scott Morrison was snubbed from speaking at this weekend's Global Climate Summit.
Plus, why Chinese aircrew have been told they should wear nappies at 30,000 feet. This is The Project.
Hello and welcome to your end of week edition of The Project, featuring Rachel Corbett, Susie Youssef and Claire Hooper.
Yes, all the ladies. Woo, woo. Yeah, so